On the 16th, Mr. Sakurai decided to bless us with the next character in the Smash Bros. Franchise. He finally added my boy Cuphead to the game! At the end of the Cuphead reveal trailer, they showed us a glimpse into the next 2 years, and that the Smash Bros. Team has 6 more characters lined up for the future. Now that there's a whole slew of characters to be announced, I want to get my hand in the ring and make my own set of predictions so that when December 2021 hits, I can either say, "Suck it idiots, I was right and you weren't," or I could be saying, "I don't think they could add any more Fire Emblem characters to the game." With this list, I'm going to give the category, the type of character I think it's going to be, the character that I think it's going to be, then the reason I think of that, and also theorycraft the moves a little bit. In this list I have taken assist trophies like Waluigi, Shovel Knight, and Bomberman out, and I'm also counting out Mii fighter costumes such as Sans, Cuphead, Geno, and Rex, since those already cost extra money to get. Alright, let's get started! To start off, I want to bring up something Sakurai said himself in the last direct about Smash Bros. As a game.
I feel like it's become more than a fighting game, some sort of celebration of gaming or something else entirely.
So now that we know that Sakurai himself sees this game as a representation of gaming, I think that one character will be a representation of modern gaming. That's why for my first character I picked Steve and Alex of Minecraft. Minecraft has been debatably the most influential game of the past decade, as well as being the best-selling game of all time, beating out the titan that is Tetris. I think this character can have some really cool moves with him being another sword character, at least for a side B attack. It'd be cool to be a sprint, be him hopping in a minecart and then a dash attack like him falling out into someone. We could see a fishing rod grab similar to Isabella. I think the coolest move could be his recovery, which would be an Elytra and fireworks, with the fireworks doing damage and giving height, as he can then glide slowly to the ground. So one of the big emphasis for this game has been adding in the rivals. For every Mario there's Bowser. That principle is what they used after Ridley was added to sell King K. Rool. However, I feel like there's still one major character missing their rival. That's why I think they'll add King Boo to the game. Stick with me on this one. I can already see the trailer for this one. They start with the rival screen again, and then they cut to the castle for the Belmonts, reveal Luigi going in, and instead of the Grim Reaper killing Luigi, it is King Boo spooking him out of the castle. You might say that this character is a bit out there in terms of possibility due to the amount of Mario characters, but they just added another Fire Emblem character, so I think they could pull the same gimmick and call him King Boo from Luigi's Mansion, as opposed to King Boo from Super Mario. I think King Boo would be similar to Banjo and Kazooie with the more bland and basic attacks, but instead of fists it would be like his tongue. I think there could be some cool gimmicks for casual play, like if you get grabbed by King Boo while you're holding an item, it takes the item from you like in Mario Kart. The next character is going to be a Gen 8 Pokemon. Almost every gen has a rep in the game, so since 8 just released, they have many contenders to pick from. It also makes sense with the new Pokemon DLC coming out that they can release this character at the same time of the DLC. Now which Pokemon do I think it is? I believe it'll be Rillaboom. If you look at the current roster of Pokemon, we have the Water starter of Greninja, the Fire starter of Incineroar, but there is no Grass starter representation. I don't really know what Rillaboom's moveset would be, I just know that there's probably a Gen 8 rep and Rillaboom fits the category the best. Next rep I think is going to be a For the Fans rep. There's a lot of requests out there for additions to Smash, so I believe one of the new characters will be a For the Fans type of rep. I believe this one will be Shantae. With a rich history on Nintendo consoles and the first ever game being released on the Game Boy, I feel like Shantae will both represent the Game Boy as a console as well as please a lot of the fans asking for her. I've never played a Shantae game, so I don't really know what any of the moves would be, but I feel like Shantae is the most likely rep in this category. I think Sakurai's goal with these last set of characters is to fill in the genres that haven't been represented yet, so I have a feeling this one's going to be a puzzle game rep. Now this one I'm up in the air in for who's going to get picked, so I have 3 different suggestions. The first one would be Phoenix Wright. I haven't played his games yet, I don't know the likelihood of him being added with him already being in Marvel vs. Capcom, but he is an icon of the genre. Number 2 would be Professor Layton. Professor Layton games have only ever been on Nintendo consoles, so it would be easy for them to get the licensing on the character. However, I don't think there are really any obvious moves that Professor Layton could attack with, so I don't hold him in too high regards of being possible. The third likely character would be a Puyo Puyo Tetris character. I think these characters have a similar problem to Professor Layton when it comes to moveset, but Puyo Puyo is an iconic in Japan, from what I hear, and Tetris is the number 2 selling game of all time, which makes this character my most likely of these 3. Of all my recommendations on this list, I could see this one being the furthest off, however, I don't see it out of the realm of possibility. This last pick goes back into the idea of being a celebration of gaming. I think this last character is going to be an indie game character. With the recent boom of indie games, I think Sakurai is going to for sure use an indie game character. Now of all the characters, who do I think he will pick? Cadence from Crypt the Necrodancer and Cadence of Hyrule. Sakurai seems to love the Legend of Zelda franchise. That's why he played through all of Breath of the Wild just to remake Link again in the game. So I think this combines both indie and mainstream enough that she can be added to the game. I really like the idea that she has a gimmick of her rhythm monitor from the game, at the bottom kinda like Joker's arson meter, and if you hit your attacks consecutively in rhythm it does more damage. I think they would have her signature shovel and dagger and have a down B that could be similar to Shovel Knight's attack. These are my predictions for the next pack. If I had to pick a character I would want Paper Mario added to the game, but since the franchise has died off, I don't see that as a likely possibility. In any case, we will see how right or wrong I am in 2 years. Thank you for watching.